Hey everybody, it's Karyn, Bryant, and
Alan Jouban. What's up, guys?
And we are here with Chris Weidman, who of course is taking on Yoel Romero at UFC 205. Got a fresh haircut. He got a fresh haircut for the.
He looks good. He seems like he's in shape. Haircut makes you perform better when you feel confident. So
does it? That's a serious question, though, Chris. Do you feel like you go through a certain ritual before a fight?
I agree with him. I think the better you look, from clothes to haircut to shaving, I feel like you perform a little bit better. I feel like you get a little bit more confidence from that, and feel good, play good. I forgot the line, but I know it's like three things.
When you look at what is it? It's better to look good than to feel good.
Look good, feel good, fight good. I guess.
Is that it?
That's it. Big
good, feel good, fight good. That's cool. Well, obviously this fight is going to have a lot more eyeballs on it, being the UFC's big debut at Madison Square Garden. You were such a big part of getting this to happen. You went to the floor of the Senate in Albany and everything. How important has this been to you, and how good does it feel that you actually are on the card?
Oh, man, it feels so good. It's kind of surreal that it's actually happening because, I've been fighting for almost 8 years now, and I've never been able to fight in my home state. And when I first started fighting, I had to fight in New Jersey. That was kind of my home away from home. That was my local fights in Atlantic City in the Ring of Combat. And fighting in New York wasn't even a thing on my mind. It wasn't even like something that was, on the table to be changed until recent years. And in the last 3-4 years, it started becoming like a real thing. And then I started trying to lobby for it. I was going up to Albany and Syracuse, Buffalo, did a bunch of things at Barclays Center, Madison Square Garden, did a bunch of things. And every single time I would speak to the senators and assemblymen, it was like, oh, yeah, no, it's going to pass this year. There's really nobody who's against it. All right, perfect. So I come back home like, oh, no, it's going to pass this year. And then again, I just wouldn't. I'm like, what is the problem?
Right.
When you get dirty politics is all about. A couple of people were arrested.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's legal. So I've had so many ups and downs with this thing being legalized and then kind of envisioning fighting in New York. So it does feel surreal that it's finally here and it's actually going to happen, especially this week. It's unbelievable.
Fun here, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But also the thing about this too is you were kind of down to the wire with this fight, right? I mean, weren't they saying when you came to that press conference, you were just kind of running in, literally the ink was not even dry in the contract? Is that really the case?
Yeah. So they gave me the Jacare fight, and then they gave me the Yoel Romero fight, and I accepted both of them. But there was things in my contract I wanted to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
So I want, some more money, and so we were dealing with that, and then it pretty much came down to the wire. I didn't know if I was going to be fighting or not, which was crazy because obviously I put a lot of work in to get this done, and they knew it was obviously a dream for me to be able to fight in Madison Square Garden and be one of the first people there. But I didn't really know if I was going to fight until literally the day before the press conference. I had to fly to Las Vegas, and then on the plane ride home was when we finally hashed out a deal.
Man, it wouldn't have seemed. I got to say, it wouldn't have seemed complete if Chris wouldn't have if you wouldn't have been on the card like she said earlier. You were such an essential part of it, and you were kind of the face of the whole movement from the fighters perspective. So I'm glad you got on the card. Let me tell you, man, it's Monday now, so normally a lot of the fighters we get to the hotel on Tuesday. Are you at home right now, or do you plan on going to the hotel? Are you staying?
I'm at home. I'm at home right now. I wish I could stay home the rest of the week and just drive in or take the train in on Saturday, but I was in the city already today. I did media. I just took a car service in, car service out. Right. I'm going to sleep home tonight. Tomorrow, I got to be at the UFC at the hotel, I think at 2 to start doing some media stuff. And then from there, I'm going to stay into the city because the problem is I live 45 minutes, maybe an hour away from the city now, and which is no problem. I drive in and out, but the chances of paying rush hour and everything like that is just not worth it. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to be in the city for good, and then it'll kind of feel like fight week. Right now, it doesn't. Usually I head out to Vegas for my fights on the Sunday before, and you start getting those nerves, and you feel like you're there, getting ready to fight. Now I'm just hanging out. It doesn't feel like fight week yet.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because I feel like because we, Alan, we see him obviously all the time, but I remember the last time when we were in Vegas before your fight, and we went in and you were cutting some weight and you were working out, and all of a sudden it was like, who's this dude? He kicked into that angry mode, and I would think need that, and I would think that having your kids hanging on you, while that's great and comforting, you need to get a little bit angry and a little bit mean this week.
I mean, I wish I didn't have to. it's not even like it's meant. It's not even like I mean for it to happen. I mean, he knows too. It's just like, the reality starts kicking in. Wow, this fight is happening very soon, and the reality is you don't know what's going to happen in that fight, and so you're just trying to mentally prepare for every single moment that could happen there, and it's stressful, and there's a lot of anxiety. So it's hard to just smile and hang out with everybody and just be hugging up on the kids and laughing and taking them to gymnastics and stuff like usual. So you end up being kind of like, you're just very focused.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and also it's been now almost a year because your last fight was in last December, and I'm wondering too. I mean, you have a routine, right? And like you're trying to, not that you have to relearn this, but it's been a little while. So how much is that affecting you as well? The fact that you have had quite a layoff.
Well, it's not even the layoff. It's the fighting in New York and the difference of like not flying in on a Sunday, not flying at all. This is something I've never done before. This is just the things that I'm used to doing are just so different. I'm going to work out in my basement tonight. That would have never happened. So it's just like weird thing. If there was anything of like, having like traditions and things that you had to get done, or you're going to jinx yourself, that's kind of out the window. And what's good about losing is all that stuff goes out the window anyway, because you try to I was undefeated for such a long time. You get such a groove of doing things a certain way, and then if you feel like if you change one thing, that's the reason why you lose.
That's why, right.
All that stuff, once you lose, at least I don't have to worry about doing all those things again.
Yeah. I get you. Chris, I want to ask you, man, so going back to your last fight, I remember watching the fight and thinking, man, both of you guys looked very tired during the fight. You guys gassed somewhat, both of you at the same time during the fight. And I was wondering, what was that from? Was it just the intensity of the fight that you guys are feeding off of each other, the crowd, the level of the fight? And then B, going into this fight against Yoel Romero in your hometown, so much at stake because, like you said, you were one of the people that brought this fight here. Did you have to change anything to maybe change that factor of getting tired or the nerves getting to you fighting in your hometown?
I don't know if that was a nerve thing for Luke because, he definitely did get tired. I feel like for me, I didn't go in that fight as prepared as I should have. I had some issues, and the only reason I would even bring it up is because right away we got an instant rematch, so we had to talk about why I lost that fight and what I had to do differently and the reasons why I lost. I had to come up with excuses quick. I dealt with a lot of injuries during that camp, and I wasn't able to train the way I'd like to. And so confidence-wise, for my cardio, I think was a big problem. And we got some tough scrambles, and he was a tough dude, and he kind of zapped my cardio. So that's kind of where I was at. And for him, I know he was feeling like a little sick, and he had antibiotics in his system. So that's maybe on why he was a little sluggish. But at the end of the day, I went in there to win that fight. I wanted to win it really bad, and so did he, and he ended up winning it. At some point, I'm over that loss. We will fight again at some point. Michael Bisping took his belt, and now I win this fight. I get to beat up Michael Bisping, get that belt back, and one day, if Luke, whatever, if he wins some fights, he'll be back, and I'll be facing him again.
Moving forward, into this fight, into this big card, fighting your hometown, in your hometown. I know I get this question all the time when you fight close to home, but do you feel like it's going to be a factor, or is it exciting you in a way? You up for the challenge?
You have more eyeball. I mean, it's great to have that support, but at the same time, a lot of people feel that extra pressure of, oh man, all my people are here and I can't let them down.
I put a lot of pressure on myself to begin with, just to perform at a certain level. So I don't know if I don't feel like there's extra pressure on me, to be honest with you. And then also it's like there's a spotlight on me for sure, but remember for the last 4 years, I've been fighting for the championship belt. This is the first in these huge events. So I guess I'm kind of used to that, and I honestly, the pressure doesn't really come from other people; it comes from me putting it on my. Like I want to always just dominate these guys, and kind of show that there's a difference between me and the rest of the division. So as far as being home and having that crowd, that New York crowd behind me, I think it's just going to be hopefully something I can take in and won't emotionally swing me, but just something that's exciting. Just enjoy it.
Yeah, I feel like for a lot of you guys, and for all of you, but you, Frankie, I feel like there's a certain element of you guys, like, it might be Chris's slowest ring walk ever. Like, we're going to hear won't back down like 3 times because he's just going to be crawling out.
I got surprised for my walkout song too.
You mentioned that you had an offer for Jacare and an offer for Romero. These are both guys that like most people are trying to avoid. And with Yoel Romero, everybody talks about him being not a wrestler, he's the wrestler. You know, I talk about this, even DC, you know, everybody who knows, everybody's a great wrestler, even recognizes how good, Yoel Romero is. Obviously, your wrestling has been such a, you've been such a great wrestler all your life as well. But I mean, is two wrestlers meeting up? Is it just going to be you guys throwing hands? You know what I mean? How much do you think wrestling's actually going to come into it?
I think wrestling's going to be a big part of it. You know, it's going to dictate whether it's standing or not. I think wrestling will be a big part of it. I don't know. You know, he's been taking down a lot of his fights. But the thing is with wrestling, it zaps your cardio a lot. You'll see he actually hasn't used his wrestling too much in the cage. He chooses to bang most of the time, and he's a strong guy with a lot of muscle. And I feel like wrestling probably zaps it the most. So I think he kind of stays away from the wrestling. He has some explosive takedowns and stuff, but it's kind of then it's kind of relaxed again and maybe back to he's not like the guy who's taking you down from falling and like taking you back and like squeezing you and looking for a rear naked. So my goal is any type of wrestling, any type of flurry is I think a good thing for me. Just to keep him working. I think I just want to keep him working as much as possible.
Oh, hold on, we missed that last part. What are you?
I just want to keep him working as much as possible. That's really it. You know, I think that's where I win the fight is making sure that there's no relaxing moment in it.
Keep the pace on him. Make sure he doesn't stay on the stool that extra.
Yeah.
Extra. I was at that.
And there's definitely a lot of things he's done. I mean, even as cornermen, they struggle to get out of the cage when the people are telling them to leave. Not even with the cage fight, with the Jacare fight I saw. Yeah. So they definitely know that they're athlete and they know that he needs some extra time. Let's do whatever we can. They like put a lot of water on him before the ref comes over, and then the ref wipe it off, and all those tricks in the book. And so whatever. Obviously, I think the problem with Tim Kennedy when he fought him, he let that stool gate issue. I mean, I think it broke Tim going to the third round. He thought he won the fight, and it was bullshit. I thought he won the fight too. Yep. Should have been stopped, but I think mentally that broke him. So I just can't let any of that crap bother me. I just gotta keep focused.
Because he does. He grabs the fence. He grabbed the fence a couple times. Whoop, we lost you. Here we go.
Good?
Yeah, there we go. That's better. Yeah, in the fight with Jacare, there was a couple of fence grabs. You know, there's always something.
Bad one.
Yeah, and Yoel is such a good fighter, but there's kind of these asterisks every now and then that come up where you're like, yeah, but he did this, or yeah, but he stayed on the stool. But I agree with you. I was at that Tim Kennedy fight.
And then he failed the PE.
And then he failed, right, exactly. So he has that element of being able to distract you a little bit. I know you and Michael have been talking a lot of smack, and Michael said that, if he had gotten the GSP fight or whatever, that you would be next. I don't know how much if it helps.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate that. Thanks for
Well, he really is not a Weidman fan. I don't know, Alan, if you've followed this at all.
Who's this?
Bisping. Not really a Weidman fan.
He's never been a Weidman fan.
I think it's pretty epic, yeah.
Since I got into the sport, seriously, as soon as I came to the sport, I was like a young buck coming in. I had like 2 victories. People like, this guy's an undefeated prospect. And I hear Bisping calling me out. He's not that good, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow. All right. And then he's been in the UFC. At that point, he was in the UFC forever. And the next thing I was I won the title and all, and defended a couple times. And every single fight I ever won, he just completely crushed. And I feel like there's a lot of bitterness on his part. And then now he's the champion. And then, I came out saying it was embarrassing to say that Michael Bisping was a champion in my weight class. And then it just set fire.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much that motivates you, because that is a fight that could happen. I know, Chris, we've talked about this. You had a big brother that sometimes used to put it on you. I know you can defend yourself in a scrap verbally and obviously physically, but how much does it help you, or maybe not help you, to have actually not like somebody? Because I know some people don't want to go into a fight when they don't like somebody. They don't want an emotional element in there. So if you ever did go in with Michael, you might really just want to punch his face off besides win the fight. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, but honestly, Bisping, like I said, I'm not angry at him. He's crushed my career. He's crushed me up for the last couple of years, and it has not bothered me one bit. He for me is a clown. I think he's a nice guy. He's got a family. There's nothing wrong with him. But he is. I just see him as a jester. He's just a clown, and so nothing he says really does bother me.
Right.
He wouldn't emotionally get to me at all. He could say anything he wants about me.
Chris, let me ask you, man. This fight obviously is not happening anymore, but just to to look at it, Luke Rockhold was supposed to fight Jacare. Who do you think would have won that fight and how? And then also in 205, your teammate or your friend, brother-in-law, whatever you would call him, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Tyron Woodley. How do you think that fight goes down as well? 2 picks for me.
So I thought Jacare was going to win that fight. I thought like he would probably be the favorite in my eyes, just because I think both of them, anybody obviously could win in a fight, but I think he was a favorite in my eyes because first Luke is coming off a bad knockout loss to Michael Bisping, who was not known for power, and so then you're going to have Jacare, who comes in very confident on the feet, wanted to knock out Luke, and knowing the chin might be suspect. And if we go back to their first fight they had, it was very close. But at that point, Jacare was really just a jiu-jitsu guy, who did actually pretty good on the feet with Luke in that fight. So I think the confidence in Jacare's corner with momentum and having that confidence on his feet in this fight would have also opened up his takedowns in the jiu-jitsu. And I just thought he had all the momentum to win that fight.
Right.
How about Wonderboy though? Because last time I saw you, Chris, you were he was driving Miss Day. He was driving around Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. They had just come from practice and stuff, and they were driving around. And at the time, we weren't 100% sure Chris was going to have a fight, but we knew obviously
breaking up here.
Yeah, that's Stephen Wood. So, how do you think he's going to do? I mean, obviously you got a good look at him during camp. Tyron is a very explosive fighter. Obviously, great wrestling, but he obviously has knockout power as well. So, how do you see that one going?
You guys, you broke up for a little bit, but I'm guessing you asked, how do I think Wonderboy is going to do with okay. Wonderboy, I think he's going to go out there and look really impressive. I think the last 3 guys he fought, McDonald, Johnny Hendricks, and Ellenberger. Hendricks definitely, I think, was a tougher matchup for him, and Rory.
Right.
Ellenberger, you could say he's a very similar fighter to Tyron Woodley. I just think it's a really tough matchup for Woodley, man. I just think that the range, he's going to have to close distance on Wonderboy, and what he's going to realize is really hard to do that, and Wonderboy's so unorthodox. See, if Woodley was the type of guy who had the cardio and that mentality of, all right, I'm going to take him down for 5 rounds and hold him down and win a decision, maybe he's a submission guy or something like that, I think there would be a closer fight. But I think because he's known to knock people out, really, he's almost like a Romero. He's like, explosive guy, but not really a guy who's going to be taking guys down for 5 rounds. I think he conserves his energy. I think him being stuck on his feet for 5 rounds with Wonderboy, bad things are bound to happen.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a tough fight. I will say this though, and
how does Woodley win? How does Woodley win the fight? Is there any other way besides knockout?
Well, we have seen though when and I do have Stephen win in this fight. I do have him picked. But we have seen when Stephen did fight Jake Ellenberger. Ellenberger was able to catch him a couple times.
He tagged him. He knocked him down. And I do wonder, I mean, obviously if he's been putting in the work with you, but we really haven't seen Stephen on the ground too much. We haven't seen him really have to deal with somebody who can take him down over and over and does take him down. And I think Tyron is fast enough to...
Do you think Tyron Woodley could take him down over and over and over again, though? Like, has he ever done that? I don't know if he's ever done that to anybody because that takes a lot of cardio.
I hear what you're saying. And I do think that the Tyron, the older, I think Tyron has made some adjustments in his conditioning and stuff like that. I don't think he tires as much as maybe he used to or whatever. But I see what you're saying. He can close that distance so quickly, but like, we know Stephen's footwork is so great that he may not be there. It's going to be like with Cody Garbrandt and Dominic. Cody's like, look, if I can get my hand on his chin, he's out. But is he going to be there when I get there? Right. That's the question.
Oh, yeah, it's an interesting fight, and Woodley is definitely very, very dangerous and very explosive, and he's capable of knocking anybody out. So that's what's going to make the fight really exciting.
Yeah. And so for you, I know we were talking about this you wanted to change some things in your camp, and you still have your original guys. But what do you feel like you did work on? Did you spend more time boxing this time? Did you spend more time, developing just things that you thought were the weaker parts of your game? Or did you focus on what you already were good at?
I'm like freezing over here, by the way. This is what happens when you're cutting weight and drinking a lot of water. But I'm like, I don't know if I'm shaking. But,
We're almost done. Hang in there.
No. I'm not complaining. I'm just like, if I'm like having Tourette's outbreak over here. Okay. So where are we?
I don't know if you started to work more on your boxing after the fight with Luke. What did you focus on for this camp?
Honestly, nothing really changed to my other camps as far as my focus. Obviously, I'm going as a wrestler. I had some guys, in sparring that were trying to take me down more, which I'm not. I wasn't really used to a lot of guys trying to take me down in sparring, so that was good to get used to. And then other than that, nothing much changed. Other than since my last fight camp, I really just don't want to get injured anymore.
Yeah.
So I used to train like 2 or 3 times a day, really hard. I spar 3 times a week. That has changed. I trained 1, maybe 2 times a day, and the intensity is definitely down. I definitely used to overtrain, and I guess that's why injuries came. So I'm really trying to focus on holding myself back from overtraining, and I think I did a good job at doing that. I feel way better than I used to feel at the end of camps.
Right, Alan. Don't overtrain.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as him right now, man. I'm at the same stage in my career where I'm finding that, you know what, the fresher I feel the next day, the better I feel, and I perform better in my fights. So, yeah, it's a good idea you're doing that. Let me ask you, man, moving forward, let's say, I know you're not overlooking this fight, but you get the victory here. Where are you at in your mind, in your career, in your mindset? Are you trying to if you get the win this weekend, are you trying to jump back in there right away if you get a title shot, or are you trying to fight early next year, later on, take some time off?
No, I'm ready to go. I know I took enough time off. I'm 32. I'm trying to get these W's as quick as possible. I want to get that belt back. That's the money belt. That's what the belt you want. Trust me. That's where we get paid.
Yeah.
So I want to get that. I want to get that belt back ASAP. So beat Yoel and get a fight scheduled with Bisping fast.
Nice.
Well, yeah, and Michael's timing, he's getting some treatments in his knee, and he actually broke his orbital in that fight. So the timing could work out because that fight was only a few weeks ago. You guys could time out maybe.
Oh, he's fine.
Well, everybody's like, how could you fight GSP but not fight Jacare?
Jacare, he's like, hey, I'm free. Can we fight, please? And he's like, oh, my knee. Look at this picture of his knee.
Dude, ain't
my big
trying
toe. I stubbed that yesterday. There's no way I could fight. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and poor Jacare.
I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, he was seeing the dollar signs in the GSP fight, but I get your point as well.
And the DS fight, but it's just funny. The guy definitely, he looked like a jackass on that one.
Yeah, I mean, his whole point to that too was, with GSP, I have to worry about a jab and a takedown. With other guys, you have to worry about a lot more. So, and he said, Jacare has been in a ridiculous camp prepping for Luke. Meanwhile, GSP's been doing whatever training, but a different level of intensity with those. But I don't know if you've seen, Chris. I'm sure you have all the stuff Jacare puts out. He put out a picture photoshopped of Usain Bolt and Michael's next to him running, and it's just like everything is just all about him running. And no matter what Michael puts up anywhere online, there's little people use that crocodile emoji, and it's like, oh man, I feel. It's nuts.
I've had those on my page before.
I bet you do. All right, so cool. So after the fight, do you have a I know you have some like New York after party. I'm sure you got scheduled.
Well, Paradigm's working hard on it. I better have a good one.
Nice.
Our management crew better step their game up.
They better.
So. I haven't heard anything yet, but we will definitely have an after party, and hopefully everybody from New York be there. So it's going to be pretty packed.
Nice. Any last words? What do you say to your fighter friends before they go out there? Anything that you...
I mean, he's the former champ. He knows everything. But yeah, man, I'll be rooting for you. It'll be an exciting fight. We'll be there.
We'll be there for sure.
Karyn and I both. So
awesome.
And he's got a fight coming up in about a month now, right?
December 17th.
Yeah. So he's
Where
fighting Mike Perry. Mike Perry. Well, we say he's like a Jersey Shore guy, but he's not really from Jersey, right?
He's not at all from Jersey. I think he's from Florida, but he's just got the Jersey. When I say Jersey Shore, I mean the TV show Jersey Shore.
Right.
Kind of reminds me of him, but.
You don't want.
He's a talker. He's a talker.
Jersey fan base.
That'll be fun.
Dirty Jersey.
Yeah. We're gonna hear about it again. You're gonna hear all of that.
Yeah. So wait, he doesn't train in Jersey though. He trains in Florida.
Yeah, I think we were saying Florida. Yeah, because he's 2-0 in the UFC. The last fight he won was a pretty good knockout. He's kind of like a new version of Phil Baroni. That's kind of the comparison people are making. He kind of has that look and that like attitude, and he's done a couple of things at the weigh-ins that people are like, this guy's a dick, and so he's got the fan base that likes the fact that he's kind of a dick, and then there's the other part that's like, no, he's not. So he's just been calling Alan pretty boy all the time online, and just like Alan thinks he's got a crush. Really, is what it comes down to.
It's been a little bit more than pretty boy, but yeah, he's one of those guys.
Pretty Boy. Can't be mad about it.
I'll take Pretty Boy.
Pretty Boy's good. Pretty Boy's good. Awesome, Chris. Well, we will see you in just a couple of days' time. Thank you so much for talking with us today. We appreciate it, and I'll get on the whole modeling contract thing. I'll work that out.
We'll work that out.
Yes. Give me the big bucks. Let's do it.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Take it easy.
Later, man. Good
All
luck.
right, guys. Thank you very much. Take care, man. Best of luck in your fight, too.
Thank you, brother.
All right, buddy.